Just a very quick one today to address what is perhaps one of the dumber rules decisions in the new Eldar Codex. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today I just wanted to talk about one very questionable decision Games Workshop decided to make with the Autarch datasheet. One that perhaps does seem to follow their recent pattern of datasheets and the way that they've released kits, but at the same time it's just a particularly frustrating one, and perhaps something that they could so easily change if they wanted, if they did just issue an FAQ on it. So basically it's the slight weirdness around the Eldar Autarch release, where when the datasheet came out in the Eldritch Omens box, people were wondering whether or not that was just a temporary tied over datasheet, as it did have a fair few differences to the actual finished rules in the main Eldar Codex, things like the Death Spinner auto-hitting for example. It seems though in both that draft datasheet and also the finalised one in the Codex, you're still not allowed to mix any of the war gear between the previous Autarch kit and the current one, which basically means that a lot of the various different bits of Autarch gear can only be taken in the one loadout or in the flexible one. This definitely isn't anything particularly unusual for Games Workshop. For example, all of those Primaris captains that you can only field in certain given loadouts. Say for example, no mixing that Storm Shield from the Indomitus pattern one with some of the other different types of gear. However, I do feel that it's a bit weirder for a choice for the Eldar Autarch for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, they did actually market it as the two kits being compatible together. Apparently the arm sockets are modelled, so you could say mix the fusion pistol on the winged Autarch with say the Starglaive or the chainsword from the more current multi-part one. So it just maybe seems a little bit disingenuous to say, oh yes, you can go ahead and model those that way, but good luck trying to use them in an actual game. It just seems to be a bit of a design fail to have the two kits have interchangeable parts, and then massively disincentivize mixing those kits if you do actually want to play a game with it, and you don't just want it as a display piece. There's also no real lore reason why you can't mix things like Swooping Hawk wings and Reaper launchers. Autarchs are very much known for walking down most of the different paths of the warrior, so have mastery over the vast majority of the different aspect shrines. Perhaps the singlest most silly thing though is that on the very nice looking cover of Codex Eldari itself, there's this guy. A cool looking Autarch with Swooping Hawk wings, a Starglaive and a Reaper launcher. A nice looking combination that you're not actually allowed to field as per the rules on the datasheet. If you take the Starglaive and the Reaper launcher, then you can't take the Swooping Hawk wings, you'd have to take a warp jump generator instead. I know that the person with the Codex cover was probably just going with a bit of artistic license, and I'm all for that. It just seems a little bit weird for new players starting the faction who just see a shiny model on the front cover and say, oh yes, I'm going to have that guy leading my army, and then just arbitrarily find out that you can't actually field it because reasons. I'm not necessarily saying that there aren't some advantages to Games Workshop keeping the two separate boxes kind of separate rules-wise. In a way it does actually help out newer players to an extent. Basically it means that if you do want to field any one given Autarch combination from the rules in the book, you don't have to buy multiple kits for it. You're not going to be left in the situation where you've got the gear but you don't have the Swooping Hawk wings unless you fork out for another plastic kit at great expense. And I think that that's probably the primary reason for actually making the rules like this, basically trying to fit the rules to the models that they actually sell, as opposed to trying to make people rely on bits boxes, third-party sellers or conversion. To be honest though, I think that that's kind of a minor loss compared with just having a bit more flexibility and being a bit more fluff friendly. It is quite fun to do a bit of conversion work and to just make the datasheet a bit more simple and easy to use, giving you the choices of the things that you want, at least rules wise, even if it might be a little bit trickier for modelling purposes for more niche loadouts. In any case, I do feel like it's something that Games Workshop could really easily fix if they wanted to. Games Workshop are going to have that Eldari FAQ in production for any clarifications or changes that they wish to make to the Codex. I think it could be a really fun change if they do choose to de-restrict the Autarch datasheet. I think it'd just be fun to allow the models to be mixed, and to field the guy on the entire cover of the Codex. I feel for most people that's going to do more good than harm. Otherwise, I guess if you wanted to field a guy that looks like this guy, I guess you could maybe just have those Hawk wings count as a warp jump generator, even if they're technically a bit different in rules. Probably wouldn't be the end of the world, and I'm sure that would be something that most people would be happy to play against. In any case, I thought that was just an interesting rules curio from the Codex. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Is it something that Games Workshop should fix, or is it really not the biggest deal in context? If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, where we'll certainly keep the regular 40k stuff coming, with new videos out just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the stuff on the channel, I do have a Patreon page, links down in the video description. It is what allows me to keep these videos coming quite so often, and if you are enjoying a lot, any support is enormously appreciated. Feel free to check that out or any of the other links down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.